Hi there, this is Ranjit from tech2buzz.com, and in this video we're going to do the full review of this Micromax A87, also known as Superfone Ninja. And the good thing about this phone is this 4-inch LCD screen. It also hosts a 1 GHz processor, but the major con with this phone is it has just 256 MB of RAM. And before going into the in-depth review, I just want to thank Faisal Communications for providing this unit for review. And let me start with the physical overview. And as you can see, it sports a 4-inch LCD screen which has a decent resolution, that is 480 by 800, and that's very nice for a budget oriented phone, because this phone in India sells for just below 6,000 rupees and you hardly get 4-inch screen. So that's one major good thing about the phone. Though the LCD screen is pretty good, but it's not the best. Don't compare it with the IPS or AMOLED screen. And the viewing angles are okay, but if you tilt the phone a lot, the viewing angles, it starts to fade a bit. But again, I would say it's a very good 4-inch LCD screen considering the price point at which this phone sells. And let me just give you a quick physical overview. On the top we have this 3.5mm headphone jack, and on this side we have the power on off button, nothing else. On the bottom we have the micro USB slot that will be used for charging and syncing. The microphone pinhole is over here, and if we go to this side we have the convenient volume rocker, and on the back we have a 2 megapixel fixed focus camera, and but we do not get a LED flash, as you can see. And we have a speakerphone grill over here, and I'm not very happy about the speakerphone, because the problem is that when you keep the phone like this, the speakerphone is completely blocked, and that reduces the volume by 50%. It's okay when you lift the phone. I'd say if you want to use the speakerphone, invert the phone and keep it like this. And out of the box, this phone comes with Android version 2.3, that's gingerbread, and this will not get a ice cream sandwich update, as the RAM is just 256 MB. Also, the internal storage is pretty low, but it does have a slot for micro SD card, so you can add a micro SD card to expand the storage. It is a dual SIM phone. Again, it's dual GSM phone, and for testing I did all my testing with just one SIM card, and the battery that it hosts is a 1400 milliampere battery, and I would say with just one single SIM I got a good battery life. It can easily last you over 1 day with normal usage. Again, Micromax did not modify the layout a lot. It is mostly similar to, I would say, the stock gingerbread experience. As you can see, we get these home screen, and you get this 3D interface. Actually, if you use it normally you won't notice it, but this is the slight 3D interface that you get. And this is the app tray. Again, I was expecting it to be a little bit more faster, considering that it has a 1 GHz processor, but it is not as fast as I expect. There is no, I would say, but it's not a deal breaker, because there's not much lag. There is a slight lag, as you can see. It takes about half a second or so for it to come back. And so overall, in the general UI, I would say it was acceptable. And if you go towards the bottom, we have these 3 touch type capacitive buttons that we generally found in gingerbread phones. That's the one is for the menu, home and back, and they function as expected, but these are not illuminated. So at night there won't be any illumination, so you need to get used to them, and you have to hit the right button. That's one slight con that I have. Again, the build quality I would say is acceptable. The back is nothing great. It is totally made up of plastic, and it's glossy plastic, but it does resist fingerprints, so that's a nice thing. And we also get this phone in multiple colors, so the back you can get it in black color also if you want. And now let me show you the internal storage. Let's go to storage. And I did have added quite a few apps, but internal storage, when I just unboxed the phone, you can see the unboxing video that I had done for this phone was just 129 MB, and I must have installed about 8 or 9 apps, and now as you can see the internal storage is just 37 MB. So for a person who likes to install a lot of apps, this is not a great phone, because the internal storage is pretty low. But you can mitigate that issue by installing a micro SD card and moving some of the apps to the micro SD card by using a free app called apps to SD or something like that. But again, do note that not all apps can be moved to the SD card. So if you are a person who likes to install a lot of apps, this phone is not for you. Also, one more major limitation of this phone is, as I told you, that it has just 256 MB of RAM, and I'll just kill all the apps. If you hold the home screen for a while, you get this, and you have this option to clear all the applications. I'm just going to hit that, and it cleared all the applications from the RAM. And now let me just run this Android system info app, and this will show us the amount of free RAM that is available on this phone. As you can see, the free RAM available is just 48 MB, and I have to say this is very less, and due to this many of the apps will simply not run or crash on this phone. In my testing, I noticed that apps which were more than 20 or 22 MB were not running properly on the phone, and they were crashing a lot. For example, the Temple Run game, which is approximately about 24 MB, was just crashing on this phone. Let me also show you the processor and the chipset. It comes with 1 GHz processor. It's ARM V7 processor, and the chipset used is QCT MSM7X27A Surf chipset. So the major con that I feel with this phone is the limited amount of RAM. So frequently you have to hit this button to clear up the RAM. And now I'm connected to Wi-Fi, and again I would right away say that the Wi-Fi performance of this phone was not that great. As you can see, it's loading a site called TechSpot, and if you notice, I'm on a very fast internet connection, but then also I have noticed that it takes quite a bit of time for the websites to load. I would say on average it was very slow. It takes about 3 or 4 times longer than what I would have expected with a 1 GHz phone. Once it loads the website, then it is okay, I would say. As you can see, I have loaded the full website version, and let's just try to go into one of the stories. I'm just going to click it, and again, if you notice, it's going to take some time for it to load. Sometimes it's fast, but most of the time it takes a long time for the web pages to load. One more good thing about the browser is that the pinch to zoom was fairly good. I didn't expect it to be this good, but it was fairly good, I would say. And we do get this plus or minus button, I would say. And by hitting that, you get the text reflow option. So that's a nice hint. Now let us load some heavy website like Engadget and see how it performs. Again, as the screen size is pretty big, typing is pretty easy on the phone because of the 4-inch screen. And now let's go to this Engadget website. And again, this problem is there. It takes some time for the websites to load. I don't know why it has this delay, but there is definitely a delay when it loads the site. This is just an ad, so just ignore it. About the free Android app for Engadget. I'm just going to hit continue to Engadget, and now the actual site is going to load, and it has loaded the the mobile version of Engadget, and it's still loading. Actually, we'll just wait till it loads completely. But definitely in my testing for the past 2 days, the web browsing was a little bit slower than I expected. But again, if you're not a person who browses a lot on his phone, I would say it's acceptable, not a deal breaker. Now let me just hit this desktop version, and let's see how well it renders that. And it's still loading. And as I said, it does take some while for it to render the web pages. Again, I'm just waiting, still waiting. Let's try to pinch out. It's not yet loaded fully. Almost done, I would say. Still loading, but we can do the pinch gesture, and as you can see, I was impressed by the pinch gesture because it handles it fairly well. I won't say it's very good, but handles it pretty well. So in terms of web browsing, I would say it is okay, but the problem is it does take quite a while for the pages to render. I tried it with third-party web browsers also like Dolphin, but the experience was very similar. It takes approximately twice the time that compared to other Android phones in this price bracket. And frequently I would suggest press the home button and clear, so that you clear the RAM. Coming to the 3G speeds, the first SIM is 3G enabled and you get speeds up to 7.2 Mbps if I'm not wrong. Yes, 7.2 Mbps download and uploads up to 5.76 MB. So that's for the web browsing. And by default, actually, Micromax did not load a lot of apps. The first row of apps I have just downloaded, and very basic apps were there. Coming to the multi-touch testing, it just has two touch points. For example, 1, 2. If I press the more fingers, no. So only 2 points for touch. Again, I won't complain because it's a budget-oriented phone, so that's okay. I was also able to play back YouTube videos on this phone using this YouTube app. Let me show the same. And also, as you see, the orientation changes pretty quickly, so that's nice. Let me just search for one of my own videos. Yes. Let's just take some video. This is, and let me increase the volume. And as you can see, we are playing it in high quality.
Hi there, this is Ranjit from TechToBus.com, and today we'll be doing the in-depth review of the Samsung Galaxy Ace Plus. I've already done the unboxing.
So as you can see, it does play back YouTube videos without any issues. And again, I would say it's nice to watch YouTube videos and media on this phone because of the large 4-inch screen. So if you are going to watch a lot of videos, YouTube videos, etc., this phone is acceptable. And I played quite a bit of YouTube videos and did not have any problems with the same. Also, coming to media playback, I had decent results. Let me just fire up this Astro file browser. And let me just show you some of the videos. It does play back 480p video content without any issues, but it can also kind of play back 720p media. This is a 720p video file. It's a Transformers trailer, and if you notice, it does play it back, but there is slight skipping of frames if you notice. So I would say that this phone can play back 480p content without any issues and low bit 720p media. So that's for the video playback. Now moving towards to gaming, I would say gaming is a hit or a miss on this phone, not because of the GPU. It does have a GPU, that's an Adreno 200, and I did run Nina Mark II on this phone. And as you can see, I got a decent score of 18.2 FPS. That's a decent score, I would say. But the major problem with this phone is the limited RAM, and it haunts it. And in many of the games, they'll just simply crash because there's not enough RAM available on the phone. So you're a person who likes to do a lot of gaming, this phone is definitely not for you. I was able to run Angry Birds and some light games, but for example, even Raging Thunder 2 did not run properly on this phone. For example, I'll just run it, and what happens is that the game tries to load, but later on it just crashes randomly. It's still loading, I think so. Yeah, it does take quite a bit to load. And as you can see, this is Raging Thunder 2, and you get this exception error. And this is what happens for many of these large applications and games. It will just simply crash because there's not enough RAM on this phone. And moving to the camera, it houses a 2 megapixel fixed focus camera. Surprisingly, the pictures that I got were decent enough, I would say, not great, but the camera interface is very basic. You don't get anything, you don't get touch to focus. We have this digital zoom. If you want, you can hit this and do the zoom. For example, you can zoom in and zoom out, but again very limited. And also, what do you say, there is considerable lag. For example, when I hit this shutter button, it takes approximately more than a second for it to take the picture. So these are some of the pictures. This is the one that we took right now, and these are some of the pictures that I took with this phone. And I would say outdoors the picture quality is decent enough. I'll show you all these snaps in the full screen so that you can get a better idea of the same. These pictures were taken outside in broad sunlight, and these were taken in semi-indoor conditions. Do note the pictures are a little bit soft, and these were taken indoors in completely artificial light. I've also read the quadrant benchmark, and this is the score that we are getting. It says our device got a score of 1350, which is a pretty decent score for a 1 gigahertz processor. Let me give you a breakup also. Total is 1350. Out of that, the CPU got a score of 1717, memory is 1741, IO is 1332, 2D got a score of 347, and 3D got a score of 1612. But again, I would say don't get fooled with the quadrant benchmark score. But the overall performance of the phone is not great because of the limited RAM, and that hampers the performance of the phone in my opinion. And now let me also show you the dialer. And as this is a dual SIM phone, we can switch between the SIM 1 and SIM 2. Right now I have just one SIM, and that's on the SIM 2 slot. And let me make a call. And the dialer is actually pretty good, I would say. And let me make a call. Let me increase the volume, and I'll put it on the speakerphone. And as you can see, the speakerphone is okay, I would say, but if you keep the phone down, the problem is that it's highly muted. You can hardly hear anything. So that's for the speakerphone. Also, regarding the voice quality, I would say it is pretty good, not excellent. If I would have to rate it, I would rate it about 8 out of 10. So also do note that we do not have a ambient light sensor on this phone. So for adjusting the brightness, you need to go to settings, and you have to manually adjust the brightness from this menu. So what is my overall opinion about this phone? This is a very peculiar phone by Micromax. They have put a very good processor, that's a 1 gigahertz processor, and the screen quality is also, I would say, pretty good considering the price point at which this sells. That's a 4-inch screen, and the resolution is also very nice. That's 480 by 800 that we generally do not find on budget oriented phones. But the main problem is the limited amount of RAM, and that hampers the entire performance of this phone. Also, I noticed that when you stress the phone a little bit, this back portion becomes slightly warm. So that can be an issue. This entire area becomes warm. So again, I also experienced about 2 crashes in the UI. Again, I attribute them to the low RAM. So I would say this is a okay Android phone for a person who likes to have a large screen and you only do basic stuff like watch YouTube videos and movies, etc. For that purpose, it's good. But if you're a person who likes to use a lot of Android apps and like to install them and play games, then this phone is definitely not for you. I would not recommend this phone for a person like that. I hope you found this video review helpful. That's it for now. This is Ranjit from tech2bus.com, and I hope to see you in my next video.